Hey guys, welcome to my React segment. My name is Purist, and today I'm going to be fulfilling a bit of a promise that I will indoctrinate you guys to the benefits of using the Holocene calendar. Now, disclaimer, I tried recording this part a couple days ago, but it must have been OBS was having like a bit of a snafu because it didn't detect my microphone. So I was just talking into the void for about half an hour. Didn't enjoy that. And then my headphones broke. I mean, at least I can get like new ones with like the Boxing Day sales. So that's good. Also, uh if you're in need for like new like really good headphones, I recommend the Audio Technica A&H M40Xs. They're really good. I've been using them for like 5 to 7 years. Yeah, they're really good, like sound wise. The only bad thing about them is that they sometimes creak and you have to like oil them like every year or like couple months. But anyway, been talking long enough. Let's get into this, shall we? I've also started putting my sources in the actual thumbnail so I don't have to actually link it. I mean, I probably will link it in the description, but it's always polite. So, yeah. Let's have a watch, shall we? Grab a snack, grab a beverage, and let's enjoy the little, blank period between Christmas and New Year's. Where you just full up on turkey and just need something to watch. I commend you for choosing me. Anyway, let's get into it. Also, something I realized while I was recording my last one. 9 years ago. This is freaking mad. Actually, it's probably soon to be 10 years ago because this was made at the end of 2016. So, yeah. Let's have a bit of a watch, shall we?
Humans have existed for millions of years as part of nature. But then something changed, and in an incredibly short amount of time, we terraformed this planet and designed it to fit our needs.
Again, wouldn't really say terraformed is the right word, per se. But I get where he's coming from. We did form the planet to our own needs. I wouldn't say it's necessarily terraforming. It's more like just as like too small scale. It's more like I don't know what to call it actually. It's more like yeah, it's not terraforming unless you count like big ass dams. Like the Hoover Dam and like the Three Gorges Dam. Maybe the Great Wall. Maybe the Great Pyramid, I guess. Because that is a lot of material. Yeah. It's supposed to be like knock down, like blow through dynamite, like mine stuff. I suppose that's like technically counts as terraforming too. But there needs to be like a level in between, like, you know, what we do and like actual terraforming. Just doesn't feel right to call it that.
As far as we know, we're the first beings to awaken and completely take over a planet.
As far as we know. Also, I believe I know what this satellite coming into view is.
We're the first beings to awaken and completely take over a planet.
This, I'm pretty sure, is a representation of the first satellite in the GPS network. I think. Hang on. First. GPS sat. Launched. Okay, no, that's not what I thought it was. What was the one I was thinking of? Then. I swear there's like a famous satellite that was like shaped like an ISO. That was shaped like that. I know, maybe I'm thinking too much into it.
The transition from hunting and gathering to farming and building was so breathtakingly fast that many of our ways of thinking about the world are no longer useful.
Me.
One of our most outdated ideas is that the most commonly used calendar in the world insists that we live in the year 2016.
But fun fact, there are actually multiple calendars still in existence. Not many people use them? I know that technically China uses their own calendar because they count from Mao's ascension. Pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. And I think it's like one like Southeast Asian country has their own year system. I think.
This distorts our view of our own history and makes it harder to understand who we are as a species. And
Extremely true. Just like it makes it too centric to like, you know, Anglo it makes it too Anglo-centric in my opinion. Because like humans did awesome stuff everywhere. Like this is known, right? So it's I mean, full disclosure, it's not even like Eurocentric. It's well, it's really more Middle Eastern centric. Just like although there is a case to be had for the Julian calendar. Because it's you know, 3 out of the world's 5 religions basically use a version of, well, actually, Judaism well, basically started it. And like Christianity kind of adopted it from Judaism. Wait, does Islam use a different calendar? Is it from Muhammad instead? I don't know. They must do, right? I don't know about that.
Just how far we've come in an incredibly short amount of time. So maybe it's time to choose a year zero for humanity. A year zero that truly represents us as a species and includes all cultures. A year zero that marks when we began building our own world on top of the old one.
Absolutely true. More people should use this calendar. Huh. Back when Kurzgesagt had an intro. Lol.
"12,000 years ago, hundreds of humans came together in the hills of southern Anatolia. They were hunters and gatherers without knowledge of agriculture or metalworking. All they had were tools made of stone and wood. But they built humanity's first big construction project, 7,000 years before the pyramids were built in Egypt. Spread over 300 meters, our ancestors erected circles of massive stone pillars, each of them up to 6 meters high and 40 tons in weight.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. The first, like, actual structures were places of worship. Gotta pay the gods some respect, I guess.
Decorated with artful pictograms and stone carvings of animals and mythical creatures. We have no idea how they were able to do this. It was probably a project of epic scale for the Stone Age, requiring a level of organization we didn't know early humans were capable of until we found this site.
I mean, to be fair, moving like 40-ton friggin' pillars. That's pretty hard, to be fair.
So, why did they build it?
Let alone with whatever the fuck they had with this.
The most popular theory is that this was the first temple of humanity, dedicated to long-forgotten gods. We only know that this construction project, the first of its kind, marks the beginning of a new era. It's in this area, around that time, that humans truly began to build their own world.
The only catch I have with this calendar is that it's not really exact. It's only around 12,000 years ago that we think humanity kind of had this idea of like collecting itself and like focusing itself in like bigger communities. Although I would argue it's like starts like a little bit earlier. I mean, a little bit later. With like actual cities and towns. And I suppose this is technically one of them, but like, I mean, you'll see later.
Which would make it a fitting milestone in our history for the start of our calendar. This moment in time is so distinct that scientist Cesare Emiliani proposed that humanity should switch to what he called the Holocene calendar.
Before I watched this, I legit thought this, that Kurzgesagt actually thought of this calendar by itself, but no, it was this dude. Props to this dude.
By adding 10,000 years to our current Gregorian calendar. We don't need to change our well-established days and months, and religious calendars could stay the same as well. But for all official purposes, our current year would be the year 12,016 of the human era.
Or 1225. Soon to be 26.
This would drastically alter how we think about history and how it feels. Let's take a very brief look and move through our new history from our new year zero. 12,000 years ago saw the beginning of the first construction project kicking off our history. It would be in use for about 2,000 years. It took nearly a millennium until Jericho, probably the first city on Earth, was founded in the year 1000 after the start of the human era.
Yeah, if I was like modernizing this character, I probably would technically have a case for it to start when the first cities were popping up, not when we first like so-called like began making structures. I still think that collating groups like big enough to make an actual city, like a collection of people, like a collection of dwellings that are artificial caves basically, and like the logistical collective knowledge required to actually run that city, that's way more impressive than just stone pillars like erected to forgotten gods. I'm just saying. But anyway.
Progress was still very, very slow at this point. Over the next 1,000 years, more and more permanent settlements appeared around the world, and more plants and animals were domesticated as agriculture spread. Evidence for trade over...
Fun fact. We didn't really domesticate the cat. It basically just appeared. We thought it was cute. And the cat thought, oh look, there's lots of grain here. I bet this is like a low place for like, you know, little critters I would like to catch. Would like to hang out. So it was basically just a beneficial relationship. Kind of like what happened with dogs. Although with dogs, this is kind of like a little bit more complicated because... And it happened, like, way before. Yeah, with dogs, it was just like, it was... mutual protection. And also, like, the wolf got, like, its own, like, you know, a replacement for its, pack, kind of. And slowly but surely, it turned into, you know, breeds we have today. Also, these aren't bulls. There was like a massive, well, they are they are cows, but they're like massive versions of cows that are called uruks, that I thought were literally an invention of like one of the authors I like read, Stephen Baxter. Turns out, no, they were real. They were like absolutely massive versions of cows that like people used in like Middle East back when it was actually like fertile. I mean, that's like the reason it was called like the Fertile Crescent way back in the days, because, well, kind of climate change happened, I think. I'm not actually too sure what happened, but yeah. Because, like, look at the Fertile Crescent now. It's just basically desert. And yeah, people still fight over it. It's weird.
Animals were domesticated as agriculture spread.
Sorry, I just, like, fully overlooked the plants. There's wheat here, there's barley here, and there's gourds. Gourds are cool.
Evidence for trade over thousands of kilometers has been found from this period. Around 5 million humans were alive at this point in history, fewer than live in London today. Technology advanced constantly at a slow pace, pottery became widespread, the first cultural communities appeared in China, India, and the Fertile Crescent.
Also, about around the time when pottery was first like created, also first time alcoholic beverages were first invented around Assyria and Mesopotamia. Good times.
Around the year 4000, 8,000 years ago from today, humans started to use metal for the first time, learning to mix tin and copper and kickstarting what we know as the Bronze Age around the year 5000.
Bronze.
The first proto-writing emerged and the wheel was invented. In South America, the Chinchorro culture started to artificially mummify humans 2,000 years earlier than in ancient Egypt. The first high cultures began emerging around the year 7000. The Indus Valley Civilization, ancient Egypt, the Minoans in Greece, and the Sumerians in Mesopotamia.
I need to read up about the Indus Valley Civilization, because how is it considered a high culture when we don't even know the name in which they name themselves? I mean, technically speaking, even the Minoans, which we famously don't know much about, have a freaking name. These guys don't. I wonder why.
Stonehenge was built in Britain, and the first dynasty in China began. Ötzi the Iceman lived around this time.
I thought Ötzi the Iceman was 10,000 years old. 10 or 12,000 years old. Do they...
What we consider history now started, and things began picking up pace as the world population rose to over 30 million. A number of new high cultures appeared around the world, many writing down their legends.
I need to get a copy of Gilgamesh's epic. That needs to be a thing I need to get.
More and more cities were founded. In South America, the Olmec culture emerged. More cities were founded. In South America, the Olmec culture emerged.
Screw you and your dad joke. Fuck you.
Around this time, the legendary Siege of Troy is supposed to have happened.
600 men.
Soon after, in the Eastern Mediterranean and the Fertile Crescent, the Bronze Age ended in violence. Every Bronze Age culture, except Egypt, was destroyed by mysterious invaders.
Mysterious.
Writing and progress froze for hundreds of years. Around the year 9500, what we consider Western culture began. The Greek city-states beat off the Persian invasion and triggered their golden era, ended by Alexander the Great around 9700.
That's kind of weird. How the Greeks' golden era was ended by Alexander the Great. It's probably ended by his death. Really? But yeah.
100 years later, Rome destroyed Carthage and became a dominant force in the world. Caesar was murdered in the year 9956, while the world population had risen to about 300 million people.
Lol. Down by one.
And it's only now, around the year 10,000, that we've reached the point where the Gregorian calendar and our current method of marking human history begins.
Wait, hang on. Is it the wait, what is our current calendar system? Is it the Julian or the... Did I make that up? Current calendar. Wait, what's the Julian calendar then? Oh, I thought it was Gregorian then. No. No, that doesn't make sense because the Gregorian calendar was named after the Pope. Ah, I'm an idiot. Yeah. Yeah, issued by Pope Gregory the 13th, which introduced it as a modification of and replacement for the Julian calendar. Hmm. I do love how they only yeah, the extra sleep days introduced by the Julian algorithm and we do call it an algorithm, and I suppose it is kind of. Of course, the calendar to drift such the March equinox was occurring well before its nominal 21st of March date. This date was important to Christian churches because it's fundamental to the calculation of the date of Easter. To reinstate the association, the reform advanced the date by 10 days. Thursday, 4th of October, 1582, was followed by Friday, the 15th of October, 1582. Also, weirdly enough, there were actually, countries that actually held off the transformation until about 1800? I think? Yeah, the reform, hang on. Adoption, here we go. Many Protestant countries initially objected to adopting a Catholic innovation. Some Protestants feared the new calendar was part of a plot to return them to the Catholic fold. For example, the British could not bring themselves to adopt the Catholic system explicitly. They annexed their calendar, New Style Act 1750, established a computation for the date of Easter. They achieved the same result as Gregory's rules without actually referring to him. Yes, this is totally our idea, guys. Britain and the British Empire, including the eastern part of what is now the United States, adopted the Gregorian calendar in 1752. Sweden followed in 1753. Oh my god, they did. Wait. There is an Islamic calendar. Hang on. The Hijri calendar, also known in English as the Islamic calendar, is a lunar calendar consisting of 12 lunar months in a year of 354 or 355 days. It's used to determine the proper days of Islamic holidays and rituals such as the annual fasting and the annual season of the Great Pilgrimage. The calendar enumerates the Hijri era, whose epoch was established as the Islamic New Year in 622 CE, when Muhammad and his followers migrated from Mecca to Medina. So they do have technically their own year zero. Which actually does make sense, because the Arabs were the ones who invented zero. Since 26th of June 2025, the current Islamic year is 1447. That's actually really cool. I thought they had their own. That's really cool. Anyway.
A mere 2,000 years from now, humans will walk on the moon. If we think about history as we do now, we are underplaying 10,000 years of human progress and development. Including all of it in our calendar makes our past more impressive. It shows how progress became exponential with time, and it incorporates all humans from all cultures into our calendar.
Yes.
A new year zero for our history could reframe how we think of ourselves. As a building project that started 12,000 years ago, when for the first time our ancestors came together to carve a temple out of bedrock with tools made of stone, not knowing what they would set in motion, where it would lead us as a species. From building the first temple to ships flying beyond the sky.
Very cool. Tell you what. Are you convinced? I mean, if you go to their channel, they actually sell calendars. The 2026. I think you saw like down below. But yeah. I should get one. The only problem is who uses calendars, really? Much easier to that I mean, you probably saw if you paid attention. I literally changed the representation of dates by modifying the registry in my computer, so I could actually represent the Holocene era calendar properly. Still gotta find a way to do it to my phone, though. I mean, my phone is an Android. I probably could do that. Yeah. Anyway. Hope you enjoyed that. And hopefully, I don't have to, record anything else. I mean, I do have to record anything else, but, like, no. Hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. Have a wonderful new year. I've been Purist, signing off.